Friends, I know it's becoming lengthy, but I cannot leave it in between. If I leave it, you will lose the interest, you will lose the touch, the tempo will break. So please bear with me with the length of the video on your handling why now, how, when, where. Productivity, may it be material or immaterial, has to be very carefully planned. Now let's have a look at why not drivers. And some industries are built on addiction that had to be developed. Some opportunities never existed. E-commerce was there, but very slow, at the low end. Telemedicines were not there at all, almost. Deliveries were there, but not to the tune, to the size, to the magnitude they are now. Now let's have a look at why not drivers. Now let's have a look at why not drivers. Number 1, idea and technology. Number 2, behavior and social. Number 3, legal and regulatory. Number 4, required or installed base. Number 5, networks and connections. Number 6, costs and economics. Number 7, sales and distribution. Number 8, funds or capital access. Number 9, organizational factors. Number 10, HR or available talent. Number 11, locational or demographic. Number 12, unexpected crisis. The main drivers of the market timing that impact a given business at a given point of time. Your why now is a perspective on how one or more of these drivers impact your odds of success. Are you getting your odds of success, your threats of success, your misunderstandings of success, your misrepresentations of success, your stumbling blocks of success, your communication gaps of success, your overambitiousness of success? There are many drivers and why no advantages. And yes, they can overlap. Drivers and advantages. They can overlap. Certainly they can overlap and create a problem. Let's evolve a summary list of drivers to focus on. Start with number 1, technological. Without technology, things become really cumbersome. You can put everything in jeopardy. Technology is not only by machines. Technology is a methodology, creating a system in phases required to be put according to the need of the time and the idea. It's called technology. These drivers come from tech that improves the ability to build specific products. Production. We are coming to production. There are also technology. Without technology, no production. What was too slow? What was too slow? Too expensive or impossible becomes fast, cheap or possible. Some types of incremental tech progress is predictable on a rough timeline, while others, radical types, are not. There are laws like Moore's law and more that describe how fast we may see the changes. Think of the computing power changes in the past few decades. 2 decades or 3 decades maximum. The next point number 2, is social or behavioral. Some behaviors seem to be as enduring as humanity itself. We can say the love for music. Some practices go from being scandalous to normal or uncommon to common. Some behaviors originate in one part of the world and then spread elsewhere. And some industries are built on addiction that had to be developed. For example, caffeine, tobacco, cigarettes, other drugs, but also news media and entertainment. Mega mega size. Think of the way cigarette smoking declined in various parts of the world, starting with US after decades of growth. After the decline, the habit may be replaced by something else, like vaping. Some behaviors, when accepted as norms, receive new scrutiny. Here comes number 3, regulatory or legal. Compliance, regulations, legalities, we have to keep in mind always going for a startup this way or that way, from my point of view or your point of view, you or me. I'm a founder, you are an investor. I'm a founder, you are an employee. I'm a founder, you are a supplier. I'm a founder, you are a customer. Regulatory and legal aspects of this particular subject are very empirical. This affects whether businesses are allowed to produce specific products. Very important point. When regulations or laws are created or lifted, strengthened or weakened, answers to the why now questions also change. With a change in scenario of regulatory or legal sides, institution, implementation or withdrawal, answers to the why now question entirely change. It's a fact. Some companies follow regulations, some avoid them, and some fight them. Regulatory and legal drivers can function like on-off switches or dimmer switches. The cannabis industries, if we talk about, which operated in grey market for the last century, particularly in America, also other parts of the world, has been coming into the mainstream as a result of changed regulations. New financial instruments like cryptocurrencies can go from unknown to encouraged to outlawed. Popular businesses can also influence regulations and laws. For example, as Airbnb did for hotel licenses. Much telecom innovation came from avoiding regulatory restrictions. Number 4, installed base, the foundation, the origin, the idea. This term is used to describe the way some business depend upon existing popularity of something else. For example, when the components that supported rideshare, the GPS handled communication tech, online payment system, and rating system were already established, it took years until smartphone penetration and app stores combined them all. Building Lyft and Uber before then would have been technically possible, but much more difficult. The earlier installed base of Garmin and TomTom GPS devices in the cars did not enable ride sharing because the devices were only used in the cars and not by passengers waiting for pickup. Couldn't handle payments or ratings amongst other limitations to it. Number 5, networks. This is different in that the connections are key rather than the deployed equipment. Are you understanding what I'm saying? This is different in that the connections are key rather than deployed equipment. The network may also rely on different supporting infrastructures than the equipment. For instance, the existence of online social network that enabled new form of content, distribution, selling, and subscription models. The connections were the key rather than equipment people used. Traditional networks of the people enable trust at a distance and new forms of commerce. Next one is economic. The base, the key, the bloodline of any business. Why nows of this type rely on changes in economic factor. If we take examples, a group of people may become wealthier or poorer, and as a result, a company's market may change. TG, the target audience, the customer, the providers, the suppliers, the finances, the users, the consumers, any of them become poorer or wealthier, the results of the company market may change dramatically. A new business model may become possible, or an existing business model may become possible in a new place. Economic change may be predictable enough to build businesses with that change in mind. Interest rates, low or high, change the behavior of the market. Number 7, distribution. The success guarantor. If the distribution system is not in place properly, you make any good product, you create any good service, useless, of no use. Therefore, new forms of distribution enable some type of businesses. For example, the printing press in Europe led to cheaper books, more of them, and then spreading of the ideas that led to Protestant Reformation, where earlier religious movements failed or were more limited in growth. Online communities form a new kind of distribution opportunity to tap into. Distribution may come from a combination of other drivers, but functions as its own driver. Friends, I know it's becoming lengthy, but I cannot leave it in between. If I leave it, you will lose the interest, you will lose the touch, the tempo will break. So please bear with me with the length of the video. Point number 8, capital access. Capital access varies at different times and locations. Who is the likely source of capital? Government, venture investors, traditional lenders, customers, or communities. What impact do low or high interest rates have on willingness to invest in spite of the risk? In spite of the risk, what would be the impact if the interest goes up and down? Because it impacts the bottom line in the balance sheet. It impacts the planning. It impacts the cash flow. Now we come down to next point, number 9, organizational. New organizational structures, including corporations. So individuals may be shielded from the risk the organizations take, and decentralized autonomous organizations. To abbreviate, we can call them DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, for trustless accountability. I'm saying trustless accountability. Businesses may be able to produce more cheaply or without fixed cost by outsourcing production or operating at scale. Could you get that what I'm saying? Businesses may be able to produce more cheaply or without fixed cost by outsourcing production or operating at a scale. Very important for a startup. It can be make or break point. If you are unable to produce without controlling the fixed cost, you can end up crying. If prudent, outsource it or operate it at a scale evolved out of your experience of various aspects of handling, running, sustaining the startup from all angles, internal and external both, present, past, present and future, keeping in mind. You have to be deep thinker, far-sighted. You have to be very, very careful, because it's not only you. Many other things, many other people are directly dependent on you, on your thought process, on your patience, on your sustenance, on your handling. Why now? How? When? Where? Productivity, may it be material or immaterial, has to be very carefully planned and produced, keeping all the aspects of productivity process, right from sourcing to delivery to the consumer end, keeping all the things in mind of quality, quantity, productivity, cost, time, all the factors. Now we move to point number 10, available talent. Without people, without workforce, without think tanks, without creators, no idea can work. A single person cannot climb the mountains. Single person cannot drill the mountains. In our Hindi we say, "Akela chana bhar nahi jhonk sakta." There has to be a team of people, maybe 2 or more. The production of new experts in specialist fields such as AI, medicine, entrepreneurship, and more. How fast is that talent produced and what access is there? Whether in a geographic area or online. Can you access the talent? That is a big question. Can you access that talent in a geographic area or online? You, me, startup, investor, buyer, supplier, employee, founder. Everything has to be there. You have to have a talented supplier. You have to have a talented customer who can understand you, your product, your idea. You cannot do without a good talent 360. If you think that I have a talented employee and I don't get to the talented customer who can understand my idea, who can understand my presentation, who can understand my product, you'll not be able to sell it. If you don't have a talented supplier of your services or the products or the material or the parts and components and equipments, you will keep on producing the wrong products, bad products. You will be killed. If you don't have a talented investor who can understand the name of the game, patience, sustenance, retention, continuity, and belief with full trust and confidence, you will be doomed. Then comes demographic. Where you are sitting, where you are living, where you have started your startup. A population shift that changes prospects for a business or a product. If at X place you have started your business, you moved it and put up your idea with a thing in your mind that I have got this many number of consumer base in particular place, and due to some reason there is a movement of population, you are in a problem. So before putting up a startup, not only go to the customer, go to the other areas to check what is government's, local government or central government or the main government plans about the development of this particular area, particular place. Not here only, at least 100 kilometers around it. Because in a vehicle today, you can cover 100 kilometers in less than 60 minutes. Because population shifts are usually slow, studied and predictable. The exceptions to that is smaller, sudden shifts for immigration, war, refugees and pandemic, as we've recently seen. This COVID was a pandemic, still not finished. War in Ukraine is a real-time war. Hundreds and thousands of people, maybe millions, have moved out from Ukraine to various parts of the world. Somebody might have put up a startup over there, maybe a month or 6 months or 1 year prior to it. It's gone. Even 10 years prior to it, it's gone. Finished. What population segments experience at different times and how that affects them long term. Now, if tomorrow Ukraine war stops, today is 18th December, it may have a long-standing impact for a couple of years to come. The confidence of the people who were there is totally shattered. Some people have been doomed, some people have been killed, some people have left their homes. They might not come back forever. Some new people might come, but they will come with a doubt in mind. For some, it will be an opportunity, so for some, it will be a threat. Now, let's come to point number 12. Crisis. I call crisis is the only management. Rest all is a routine. If a person who can manage crisis is the real manager, rest all is a routine process. You go with a set pattern of work, set system of work. But when that system is jolted, thwarted, broken, shattered, a crisis comes. Or due to crisis, a sudden change that opens up an opportunity where none existed before. Example can be taken, including a sudden increase in remote work, deliveries, e-commerce, telemedicines, and more during recent COVID. Some opportunities never existed. E-commerce was there, but very slow, at the low end. Telemedicines were not there at all, almost. Deliveries were there, but not to the tune, to the size, to the magnitude they are now. The remote work from home. I remember I was in America in 90s. At that time, there was a concept evolved called SOHO concept, small office, home office. Companies were really slogging to make it happen, to make it successful, but they could not. COVID did it in 1 month. Point blank 1 month. Companies thought, we have to survive. The big companies. We have to live. It's like a war is today there, tomorrow not there. But everybody is not going to perish. We have to live, we have to fight, we have to win the battle. So, remote working, work from home. Teachers were teaching the students from their mobile phones, tied into ropes and put in their rooms in front of the blackboard. People were talking to every possible connection to run the business through mobile phone screens. Some people were lucky to have laptops or projectors. But then the companies realized, if we have to get the quality delivery from our employees, we have to provide them with the things. Some people were provided with the laptop, some people were provided with the TV screens, and the cameras and the audio systems, and so on, so on, so on. So crisis created new opportunities. And these are the drivers. These are the why now drivers. 12 of them. This list of why now drivers will help you to think about when to attack a changing or unchanging world, existing customers' demands and problems to be solved. Why now drivers? 12 of them. Why I should do it now? That's the crisis. This is the place. This is the time. Tomorrow it might not happen. It might not be available. So why now drivers are to be kept in mind always. So here I end this episode, this being a very long episode, but I'm thankful to you for bearing with me and watching it till end. See you day after tomorrow with the next point, investors and why now. Investors and why now. Startup you and me. Startup me and you. Thank you very much. Please like, share and comment to my channel, my video straight. I appreciate your support. It motivates me, it energizes me. And if you have not subscribed it, please do subscribe it. And share it with others who might get benefited. It's going to be a long series. I have to learn from you because you are the best. You are the most knowledgeable. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. God bless us all. Bye-bye.